So the investigation into cyber attacks on more than 30 Minnesota water systems just got a whole lot bigger and a whole lot more interesting. In the last few hours, the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency announced a significant increase in similar attacks on water and wastewater systems all across our country. And according to the New York Times, Iran could be who is behind all of it. Here's Kent.
Leaders in some metro suburbs like Plymouth
We've never had a similar incident, so this is the first.
were not the only ones who had to contend with a coordinated cyber attack that struck 36 Minnesota water systems earlier this week.
Small cities like ours, we have a city hall staff of 3.
So did Nate George,
And a public works staff of 2.
the mayor of Brown, which is about 65 miles north of the metro. He says they, like the other impacted cities, got systems back up with no ransom threats or disruptions to service or water quality, which begs the question.
Who could be behind this and what could be their motive?
Ernesto Lodano is one of 2 New York Times reporters who are reporting that U.S. investigators see Iran as the most likely answer for a couple of reasons.
The combination of the absence of a ransom demand, which is kind of what you normally see in these kind of cases, and what U.S. intelligence officials know about Iran's capabilities and possibly their intentions.
The U.S. has been warning of Iranian-linked cyber attacks on critical infrastructure for months, in retaliation for U.S. strikes on water desalination plants and other infrastructure.
It would surprise me if the Iranians don't take credit for this in the coming days, because they're trying to let us know that they can go after us in ways we hadn't thought of before.
Cybersecurity expert Bryce Austin says days before the Minnesota attacks, the FBI, EPA, and other agencies issued a joint warning about Iranian-affiliated hackers exploiting internet-connected controllers for things like water pumps.
They knew they were easy targets, so they went after them. It's the equivalent to leaving your car keys on the dash with your windows down, except I have a magic camera that can look at all the cars around the planet and see the 10,000 out of the millions and millions of cars that are in that state. Well, apparently we had 30 water treatment centers that were in a state that were known to be vulnerable.
We've since removed our system from any public-facing internet protocols that would provide an opening or a way in, so to speak. But obviously, the question now becomes, well, how do we maintain this going forward?
Especially at a time when resources are limited and threats keep growing.
The good news with water is typically when you shut off the pumps, well, there's still water in the tower, so you don't remove service immediately. But the electrical grid isn't like that. If you disrupt an electrical grid, things go offline instantly, and that'd be a much more severe issue.
Wow. This afternoon, Minnesota Congresswoman Betty McCollum issued a statement about the attack and the possible connection to Iran, saying it shows the urgent need for more federal cybersecurity help for local cities, counties, and small businesses. I'll be right back.